important point. I would close the space in. Meaning if you want to participate in X, Y, or activities, you got to show you're vaccinated. So it becomes a reward punishment type system. You make your own calculation.
All right, so is America on the way to becoming the next France when it comes to the coronavirus response now? We bring in political and economic expert Andy PUZDER, former CEO of CKE Restaurants, where he helped turn around Hardee's, Carl's Jr., and some globally known fast food chains. I appreciate you being here, and I wish I was up in northern Michigan with you, God's country. Well, thanks for taking some time before dinner. You got to separate here in this conversation between what government can do to us, make us get vaccines or passports, and what private companies can require from us if we want to go into their restaurants. Joe Donlin earlier had a gym owner on who said, hey, next time around, as soon as the mask mandate ends, vaccines will be required. Is that something that your restaurants would have considered?
Well, we certainly would have considered it. I do have a problem with the government, as you mentioned, compelling people to be vaccinated or get vaccine passports. I don't think that's something the government should do, particularly since the FDA hasn't even given final approval yet to the vaccines. However, business is saying, look, employees can't come back unless they've been vaccinated, or customers, we don't want you on the premises unless you've been vaccinated. I think that's appropriate. I think businesses should be able to make those calls. So people have the right to decide not to be vaccinated. In this country, you have that right. But you also have to accept the consequences. And businesses imposing a consequence is not outside our traditions. I have no problem with that.
How worried are you as a business owner looking at what's happening now around the country? Mask mandates now in Los Angeles and St. Louis as well. How worried are you that we're heading to more shutdowns?
I don't think we're going to end up with more shutdowns. I think the vaccines have really got this enough under control that if you've been vaccinated, that the chance you're going to end up hospitalized or dying from this disease are now very, very small. So I don't think there's going to be enough of a problem to really shut businesses down.
The chance of you being hospitalized and dying is low if you've had the vaccine. If you're not vaccinated, yes, the chance is just the same as it was before. But we're hearing now
it's probably worse. It's worse with this Delta virus.
Yeah, good point. Fair enough. Neither of us are doctors, but that hasn't kept people from speculating on television. It goes to an important point, though, that oftentimes we're seeing these shutdowns and mask mandates and these orders that weren't necessarily based in science at the time and the place it was happening. Los Angeles had a mask mandate long before the case counts were really exploding. It was a couple of weeks ago. So you're pretty confident there's no way to put the genie back in the bottle of the reopening?
Yeah, I don't think people would tolerate it at this point. I think everybody's getting back out there, and people that are vaccinated certainly want to get back out and start living their lives again. The economy is really starting to take off. We've got inflationary pressures which could knock that down, but the economy is going at a very good pace right now, and that's what you'd expect coming out of the pandemic, and that's what we're seeing. So, but I don't think people would put up with what Macron is proposing in France, where you have to have these vaccine passports to go to a restaurant or a bar.
They're doing it in France. They're doing
mandated. That's not happening.
Israel as well. Although there's a number of places a number of private companies, as you point out, that are doing this. Real quick for you, yes. You're in northern Michigan. I understand from Mama and Papa Vitter, who are up there as well, that the hospital up there, the Munson Medical Center, is starting to fill up a little bit. They're starting to talk now about more masking up in northern Michigan. Is it something people are talking about as you head around rural Michigan in the summer?
I haven't really seen, and by the way, I wish you were here, but
yeah,
I haven't seen any of that. I haven't really heard people talking about it. Now it's a subject. Everybody's talking about what's happening with this Delta variant, so it is a topic of conversation. But when I'm going into stores, I was in the stores this morning, went to the drugstore, went to Sam's Club. I didn't see people wearing masks. So if the Munson Health Center is filling up, that's news to me. I'll have to check that out. But it doesn't seem to be a panic up here at any event.
Well, panic's never a good thing. Andy, good to see you as always. No. We appreciate it.
Same here.
Great conversation. All right. Can't miss this. As the Biden administration pushes COVID case concerns, there are new images showing busloads of migrants coming across the southern border. We're going to show you details on that.